Owendale, Michigan, episode 3, and I'm Brooke. And today is gonna be kind of like Coffee with Brooke Day, and also just a chill day. For me, I want to get on here after doing a little bit of work yesterday on the farm here. I didn't do a lot, but I need to catch you up on what is going on the farm. So, on the last episode, Farmer Bernie toured our farm. I showed him how to work the the thrasher, the swather. I can't say it. And I showed him how to use this swath separator. And we also did one thing on the farm that we actually added this back on a compost. It kind of looks like a manure heap, but it's actually a compost production. Kind of a production, but I think that's, it looks like a compost heap. So, also, off cam, I did a little bit of harvesting of this field. As you can see, I don't know how many passes. I think I did probably 25 minutes of work on the farm here off cam. And I also want to look at the production to see how much I put in the production. Oh, wow. I put quite a bit. And I don't know how much we have so far. We have 6,000 some liters. Wow. It's only 1%. That's not very good. And how much straw do we have? We have 16,000 straw out of that. Wow. We got more straw than we did grain. That's insane. Okay. So, let's get back to swathing or harvesting the crop of barley, and we'll be talking today about some different topics. Okay. Yeah, I missed a whole spot there because I was full and then it just stopped. So I've got to, I don't know which, I think I'm on the front. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. I need to lower that, and then turn that on, and then I need to switch back that and turn that on. Okay, the first topic of Coffee with Brooke today is one New Year's resolution that gone wrong. So I've been wanting to do this for a while. I've been wanting to cut carbs for a while because I've been having a lot of trouble with my health last year, and the doctor thinks by me eating healthier and working out more that I will be more healthy. So my New Year's resolution was to cut back on the carbs. First of all, the bread. And so when the New Year's came, I was naughty, Brooke. So my kids talked me into making cinnamon rolls out of my bread machine. So I made a batch of cinnamon rolls, and I told myself that I was not going to have any cinnamon rolls. I had 3 cinnamon rolls. And so I was like, that's one of my resolutions didn't happen. But I said, it'll be good the next day. I'll be doing it the next day. So the next day came, and my kids are like, really, Mom? I really want to have pizza. So I'm like, really? There's another carb. So I made the dough in my bread machine for homemade pizza, and I had pizza. So there's 2 days that I had a carb. And bread is not all that bad for you, to be honest with you, but the doctor thinks that by having maybe limiting the bleached grain, flour, and stuff like that, I would be more healthier. So the 3rd day came, and I'm like, today's the day. Today's the day I'm going to not eat a carb. And I was really good that day. I had stir fry with no rice, which is a form of a carb. And I have to actually tell you, it was disgusting without having rice. It was nasty. I couldn't barely get the stir fry down because it was basically just, stir fry veggies with a tiny bit of chicken in it. And I have to say, it was really not very good. I put seasoning and everything, but it just didn't taste the same without rice. And I have to say, I think that I can have some carbs, like some rice, if I'm making something like that, and maybe one meal with a carb in it, like that. But that was like the worst thing ever. It was awful. I've never had Chinese food or stir fry without rice of some kind, even if it was a grain, like a long grain rice. I can't believe it was so not good. So anyways, so that is one New Year's resolution that gone wrong. I actually have wanted to do that New Year's resolution for about a year because I was talking to my doctor about a way that I could feel better and not have my tummy hurt and just, feel my tummy feel lighter and not feel so heavy after eat. So anyways, at least I tried this year, y'all. You have to give me that. So the second New Year's resolution that gone wrong was that I had planned on making a little pet area downstairs for our pets, kind of like a little pet room. And I told myself that I was going to do it. And I did. I actually went down there and straightened up the area. And then I had to come back upstairs and measure because I want to put a rug down there, like a big aerial rug. I think it has to be like 8 feet by 10 feet, and it's got to be pretty good size because this room is pretty good size. And I was going to have the big hamsters tanks on. I was going to push the tanks to the side so that was room for 2 hamsters tanks, and the dog in there, let her out, not totally live in there. She would actually be living up here just to have a little play area for her so that she could go down there, and also an area to where I could have my gaming laptop and maybe have a little area where I could have either coffee with Brook or just have an area where I can play my farm sim without having my kids scream when I'm playing or recording, y'all. So I decided I was going to go on Amazon and find a rug that was that size. So I went on there and found a rug I thought was the right size. And so I ordered it. And then I'm like, I don't know what made me want to look again at the size of the rug or actually look at the rug before it shipped out, but I did. And as it was scrolling down, I saw that the size was listed in the description. I'm like, that's not the size of the rug that I ordered. The rug size said 10 by 8, and it said, I think it was the 7 by 5 feet, meaning that it's going to be way too small. So I contact the vendor, and the vendor says, nope, that is the size, And I'm like, well, why did you have the different size up at the top? But when I ordered it, the size was different in this description. And he says, oh, it was, and then he says, well, people don't read the description. Well, I did read the description at the top where it says the size to it. So, but he refused to cancel. And so I ended up having to contact Amazon to get a refund. Amazon gave me a refund, and he's claiming to me, when I contact him and says that I already got a refund, he's claiming he's at a loss because he claims that he's taken a loss because he already paid for shipping, which if he printed a label, you would think that it would show up, the tracking would show up on my order, and it didn't. So I'm just thinking he just didn't want to give me back my money, or, he just didn't want to, own up to the fact he made a mistake. I mean, I made a mistake too also because I didn't look at, I didn't really even look at the description at the bottom. I just took it that was the size. So anyways, so I reordered a new rug, which that's one thing I'm happy about, y'all, that I ordered. Oops, I gotta take that up, turn that off, and then I gotta switch that to that. So I'm happy I actually found a rug that looks really good down there. And then I realized that in the room down there, I had 4 totes, 4 big totes that I had to go through that I forgot. What's going on here? What? What? We gotta look at this. What is going on over there? What is going on? Oh my goodness. Like, I'm not over here. So, a car jam. Wow, I've never seen this on Farm Sim. Like this. I've seen it to where they were stuck. What is going on here? Oh, that is funny. That is funny. So, like I said, I had 4 totes, and these are huge totes. These are massive, big. The biggest totes that I could find to pack the kids' stuff away a few years ago, I did. And so I started going through the totes, and I'm going, oh my gosh, it just started making me cry. I was in tears, y'all. I was literally crying. And then I came to this box that was very memorable for me because it was actually, oh, look at this. What happened? It was actually a tote full of little farm animals. Like, I don't know the name of the maker of the farm toys, but you can actually build a barn out of pieces and have like a dairy farm. I absolutely loved that as a kid. I had a whole collection of that, and sadly I sold it, so I had to rebuy a whole set for my kids. A couple, I think I have there's like a dairy farm with dairy cows, and then there's like a horse farm, like a western horse farm, and it was pretty cool with longhorns and everything. And I was starting to go through it, and I'm like, I have to get rid of this stuff. I really have. I told you. I have to get rid of some of this stuff in these totes because I don't have a lot of room in that room to put all this stuff in, And the other area on the other side is my family room, and I don't want a bunch of junk in my family room because that's where my kids hang out, and they would not appreciate it if those totes were put in there. So anyways, I decided that I was going to think about it, which which stuff to get rid of. And y'all, it's still sitting down there, and I can't decide what I'm gonna do with it. I think that I should go through it and keep some of the farm toys, and maybe I was thinking making oops, I need to pull, oh, wrong one. Maybe make a little shelf for some of those farm toys to be displayed up there, and that's what I thought. That's the only good conclusion I can come out of those. Now, the other toys are not like farm related, like some Barbie dolls and some, kids' clothes. I can actually donate that stuff to my sister because she's gonna have another baby here, and I think later this year. I don't know how many months she's along, but she's gonna have another baby, so I can do that. But the memory of like all those kid clothes, I don't even know why it's so hard to get rid of that stuff. Like, I don't think that I'm going to have another baby anytime soon or have another baby, that being said, because I have a special needs son who takes a lot of my time, and I just don't have time to, and I work a lot, and I also got you guys in the channel to worry about, so that's just a lot of, so I'm thinking that's what I'm going to do, but that's another New Year's resolution gone wrong, because I planned on having it all set up by January the 5th, and it's January the 9th, and 8th, 9th, something like that, and it's still not done. It's still not even halfway done. So that being said, now those are the only 2. No, there was one more resolution about my channel. I had wanted to be able to make more content for you guys, and to actually stay on some maps longer than I do without map hopping. I'm known to map hop, y'all. And that being said, I've been pretty good about it. There's been times where a couple of days ago I was going to get back on Hofbergman, and I've just not felt like getting back on Hofbergman, which I'm going to be doing. Dang, my coffee's almost gone. So I'm just hoping to keep what my resolution is, to keep on some maps and just farm on it, and to do some productions, give some productions a chance. So now we're gonna talk about a regret I have. So I think we're gonna go pick up some straw here. What is that? I think somebody's pulled into my driveway. I saw, like, it looked like somebody was pulling into my driveway. I don't know if they're backing up or not, but I have a lot of people doing that lately, and it's kind of scary to me because you get random cars that just pull into your driveway and sit there, and then like, I had one guy who was sitting there for almost an hour. I went out there and he claims, I'm going to use super straight. I know, I'm a professional, Brook. But he claims that he was looking for a map. He couldn't figure out where he. Oh, nope. Why am I jumping? He was looking at a map to try to find where he was looking, where somebody would live at, and I gave him the directions to where it was at, and then he just sat out there for another hour. It was just super weird. I don't know if he was trying to figure out, where the directions, or he was just being creepy, casing out my house. I don't know. Okay, so I don't know. Would this be R? Okay, it would be R. Wheat. Oh, swath. Straw. We want straw. Okay, let's see how much straw we get out of here. Wow, we got quite a bit from last time when Farmer Bernie and I were on here. That's quite a bit. So anyways, we're going to talk about the regret now. I'm getting off topic. So, a few days ago, I actually went to one of my older antique shops that I love to go to, just randomly go to. And there was a memory that I remember. As I was actually going to look at the book section, it brought me back to a time, I think it was around COVID. And I can't back these up for crap. I'm going to do this again. I'm sorry, y'all. I need to learn to back these up. But it's so hard to back these big trailers up sometimes in these bunkers back there. So I wonder if anybody else does this too. But I was just looking in the books because I'm trying to look for a couple vintage books so I could go forward. Nope, I'm going back just a little bit forward here. Okay, why aren't you lifting up? Oh, I'm at the front, so we need to go to the back. Okay. Okay, why aren't you? There we go. Gotta watch that come out. Wow, look at that. That fill up. Trying to find, like I said, trying to find a vintage book to put in my collection in my room downstairs. And ooh, look at that. That's quite a bit. It's a lot. But when we come back to it, it won't be a lot. So I was trying to find a book, like I said, to add to my collection. And I came upon this book that brought me back to a time where I regret. So it was, let's go back in time to 2000. I think it was like 2000. I think it was 2020. My son, my kids like to come to the antique shops when they were younger. Not so much now as they used to. And my son, he liked to look at the book section. And back in the day, my kids really didn't have iPads or stuff like that. So they did a lot of reading and playing with toys back in the day. And my son goes, "Mom, I want this book." It was this airplane book. And he brought it to me, but he wasn't he had a little, my son's autistic. So he had a little outburst in the store, which is like, he just kind of acts up and he'd be like, "I don't want to be here. I just want to go home." So he kind of had that kind of, didn't want to be there. And it kind of upset me that he acted like that. So I told him, I was like, "No, I'm sorry. Because of your behavior today, I am not going to buy that book for you. And next time, if we come here and the book is still here, you can get it if you behave better." But looking back back then, I don't think he was that naughty. Back in the day, I thought that he was naughty, but looking back now, thinking he wasn't really actually that naughty. But back in the day, looking at my kids, sometimes I would think my kids that were naughtier than they really were. And looking now and seeing kids' behavior in stores is appalling. And parents just usually give into their kids, not caring that their kids were like acting up, like throwing a fit, screaming, and then they give them the toy, and then, their kid's even naughtier. But looking back, I'm noticing my son wasn't that naughty. And then as I was like I said, it brought me back to the fact that memory, that regret I had. And as I was scrolling through the books, I found that airplane book. It was still there. Like 5 years later, I think it's like 6 years later, it's still there. So I came home and I told my son, I said, hey son, that airplane book that you wanted is still there. Do you want me to buy it for you? And he says, oh mom, I don't want that book anymore. I don't want that book. And it brought me back to the fact that, kids' ideas of stuff change. He's more into doing, back in the day he liked to look at books of different things. He's more into like doing hobby, like he likes doing fish and stuff, and that's his hobby, and he loves playing, Ark and stuff. That's his hobby now. So that was a time when he was different, and looking back, that now when your kids grow up, they're not the same as they used to be, and it was hard to take that he didn't want me to get that book for him, and I just wish I got it for him. And then like I said, I came home and told him, and he's like, I don't want the book, mom, don't worry about it, it's over and done. He says it's over and done being autistic. It's like over and done, mom, it's okay. And I thought maybe I should just go back next week. I don't think that antique shop is open over the weekend. I think it's open from Monday to Friday. And I should just buy it and just put it in my little bookcase of all the, and then just remember that time. I don't know, it's just a regret I had, and it just makes me feel, it makes me really feel we're on top of a heap of compost. Not poop. Y'all, I'm not swimming in poop. It makes me feel sad. And, back in the day, you look at it different now that you were like, well, I was so like, so I wasn't strict, as I always had my kids, if they wanted something, they earn it. They'll clean the bathroom or help me do laundry, and they would earn it. Looking back then, I feel like I was very hard on him, being that he was autistic, and I had to be more firm with him, because if I let him get away with something, he would take me for a ride, because he would remember that, oh, I got away with it this time, I can do it again, But that regret, I'll never forget that. I just will never forget that. I just never will. And so, I had to get that out of my system. So, another regret is I wish I kept all my farm stuff that I sold at a yard sale for very cheap back then, and they're probably worth some money now. Not that the worth money is anything to me. The memory is worth more than anything to me, worth more than most other things, So, that being said, now let's talk about a scary thing, some mysterious noise that I've been hearing in my house, and let's talk about it and have a good moment here. So, a couple of weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night. It was like, maybe it was like 12 or 1 o'clock, and I heard this noise, and my dog sometimes, she snores, but it was my dog, and I'm like, what is that noise? I couldn't, because I had my door shut. I usually keep my door open just because I have to make sure that I can hear my kids and everything, to see if they're okay in case of fire or anything. So anyways, I realized somehow my door was shut, and so I heard the noise, but it wasn't like, I didn't know what it was. And so I went out, and I heard it got really loud, and it sounded like Native American drums beating. that is so weird. And I'm just like, well, you know, maybe I'm dreaming. Let's get back to harvesting, and then I'll tell you more. So, let's go over. They don't get stuck in there. Let's go over. Let's see. I don't know. I really want to start on the edge here. Start, I don't know. Like right here again. Okay, let's turn that on, lower it, change it over, lower that. So anyways, so I'm like, well, maybe I'm hearing things. I'll just go back to bed. You know, sometimes at night I hear things. So maybe I just go back to sleep and just totally forget about it. So the next morning I was, oops, why is it moving? Okay, there we go. So the next morning I woke up, and then I took the dog to the bathroom outside and then brought her back in, and I heard that faint beating noise. I'm like, well, wait a minute, did I hear it? Like, I was kind of like, did I actually hear that last night, or was I dreaming? But then I heard, like I said, I heard it when I came back in, but it was softer. So I'm like, wow, this is really weird. Why did it stop? Why did you stop? I don't know why it stopped like that. I don't know why. I'm holding it with my finger, and I don't know why it stopped. So, I heard it, and I'm like, where is it coming from? And I'm, looking up and down and trying to figure out. So I went into the laundry room. Sometimes my washer and dryer makes a funny noise, and I was actually washing a load of laundry. So I turned the laundry off. I'm like, no, it's still going. Well, you know, maybe if I turn on my dryer, maybe it's my dryer. But my dryer wasn't on, so I kind of figured it wasn't. But I just wanted to, I just wanted to see if it was that. So I did, and it wasn't. And I went and checked my dishwasher. Maybe it's making noise in the pipes by the dishwasher. Maybe it's my sink. Maybe it's something vibrating. Trying to explain the noise, y'all. Just trying to explain the noise. And then I'm like, it's got to be the heat. It's got to be the pipes, like maybe vibrate. Maybe something's loose. So I looked everywhere. I waited until the heat came on. And you know what? The drum beating stopped when the heat was on. I did not hear it at all. And I'm like, what is going on here? So I chalked it up, like I said, as being something electric. Oh my gosh, I missed something here. Oh my gosh, what did I do? Well, I guess we got to come back and get that. So like I said, I chalked it up to being something electrical. So I was actually going to call the electrical, the furnace guy. And then I thought, if I didn't hear it when the furnace was on, then it can't be the furnace. So I'm thinking, well, maybe it's my fan. I have a fan in my bedroom. I have a fan in my living room that moves. It was not. It was none of that, because I actually turned it off. And then later that day, I heard the noise again, but it was louder. It was like loud. It was oh my gosh, it was the weirdest noise. It was the weirdest noise. Wasn't the fans, wasn't the furnace, wasn't my and also I thought maybe it was my hot tub, but I'm like, my hot tub's outside. It can't be my hot tub. And I thought, well, maybe it's some other noise. Maybe it's my son's fish pumps. I checked everywhere, y'all. I checked everything electrical and everything. And, I was like, well, I don't even know what's going on here. It just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make any sense. No explanation for it. So I just kind of forgot it. And then this morning, I heard it again. And I have not heard it for a while, and it was really loud. And y'all, I think it's something weird, something sinister, to be honest with you. Okay, let me. Oops, I pulled that up, didn't I? Because there's no explanation, and I even called, like I said, I even called my mom and talked to her, and she said that sounds really scary. Maybe your house is haunted. I'm like, Mom, my house is not haunted. But I do remember a time when I first moved in here that we couldn't explain why my windows downstairs were open, because when I moved in, I moved everything in and everything, and I was living there for a while, and my windows all of a sudden were open, like just open, like jarred open, and I couldn't explain it because the people who owned the house didn't have a key to the house anymore, and nobody else had a key, and all of a sudden my windows downstairs were open. It was so freaking weird. That's the only thing. And then, oh yeah, and then the fan turning on one time by itself. But other than that, we haven't really had anything really scary happen here, to be honest with you. That's just weird. But my mom, and I have to say that I am, my brother did a DNA test probably back, was it 2022, 2023, and found out that I'm part Native American. So I have part Native American heritage in me. So maybe it has something to do with, they're telling me something. I don't know what in the Native, I don't know what in Native American, I don't, folklore or I think if folklore, when we sing folklore, or history or anything, what the drum beats mean. But when it happened again today, I just thought, wow, that is super scary. And, you know, y'all, I'm scared of cemeteries. I am literally scared to go to a cemetery, even driving by a cemetery. I will actually go out of my way to miss driving by a cemetery. And I had that same feeling when that noise came. It was like just a weird, like a dreadful noise that made me feel very, 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 just not myself. I felt so weird, like a really just scary moment. And my kids even heard it, and my son says, "Mom, that's scary." And my son got really scared. Oh no, junk calls. And I get them a lot. I get them from probably 1 p.m. till like 8 at night. But yeah, and my son was like really scared because he had to, I actually was sleeping out in the living room that one night because he was scared of the noise because he heard it too. So that being said, I'm probably going to end this video, and I wanted a little coffee with Brook time and doing a little harvesting. So probably on the next episode, I'll probably try to have this whole field done, and then probably I will either buy this or either sell some of the grain. I'm hoping to get more of the grain. So what was I going to do? There was one thing I was going to do. I'm going to check this over here to see how much we have, and we got to compact this too, and I want to get that production, that little production there going. But I don't really want it to where I'm backing up, because if I put it where I'm backing up, that's gonna not be good. I think I might put it right here because I don't see myself. Oh, I don't know, because it's right by the barn. That's not a good area to put it. Oh yeah, we gotta take these next time too, and I gotta actually put that mod back in. I took that mod out because Farmer Bernie couldn't figure out how to. He couldn't find it to put it back. I want to check to see before we end this video. Come on. Why isn't it bringing up the? Do we have to come? Oh yeah, I think we have to come over here. Here we go. Okay. See how much stuff we have now. This is how much we have. 300,000 in there. That's pretty good. And then we only have barely. We only got a little bit more. Probably maybe fast forward time. But if I fast forward time too much, I won't get all this harvested. So you all, thank you for joining me today. And it's free to like, free to subscribe.